My name is Samuel Debling. This is Death of a Living Fossil, Climate Change, Genetic Decline, and the Imminent Extinction of Andreas japonicus. The Japanese giant salamander is an ancient species that's now facing rapid environmental changes it's not adapted to handle. Because it's so specialized and slow to evolve, it's especially vulnerable to habitat loss and climate shifts. These four evolutionary concepts help us to understand how environmental stress can lead to extinction. Natural selection favors individuals with traits that increase fitness. Here, few individuals can adapt fast enough. Population bottlenecks reduce genetic diversity, making recovery harder. Genetic drift randomly alters gene frequencies, especially in small, isolated populations. Habitat specialization limits dispersal and adaptation options, which tightens the species' already narrow range. The species is endemic to a select river system in Japan. Its long lifespan and slow maturation rate contribute to low genetic diversity. It also plays a key ecological role as a top predator and is an important indicator of freshwater health. The salamander is highly dependent on cold, well-oxygenated water, and these conditions are now at risk due to warming and pollution. Additionally, its seasonal migration upstream to breed is critical for reproduction, but increasingly threatened by human-made barriers such as dams and weirs. In the figure included on this graph, you can see the current distribution of the Japanese giant salamander. This was generated by the IUCN, and you can see that the current distribution is highlighted by the red box, and the blue point shows occurrence points of Japanese giant salamanders. Agricultural and urban runoff are degrading water quality, making survival for Andreas japonicus more difficult. Particularly, dams and weirs obstruct breeding migrations, fragment populations, and limit reproduction. Climate change increases rainfall intensity and water temperatures. This not only reduces oxygen levels, but puts stress on both adults and larval stages. For this slide, I included two figures on the left. This is agricultural runoff in a body of water creating harmful algal blooms. And on the right, we have solubility with differing temperatures. So as you can see, as temperature rises, solubility goes down significantly for oxygen, which is really important for Andreas japonicus survival. Past glaciations have already caused bottlenecks in this species, leaving it genetically vulnerable. Today, isolated populations face increased genetic drift and founder effects, eroding diversity even further. Natural selection can't act quickly enough on a species so specialized to one niche. Its limited flexibility means adaptations to a changing climate is unlikely. For the figure in this slide, I used a visual representation of the genetic bottleneck effect. You start with the original population, and then something impacts that population, like glaciation or fragmentation, and then you only have a subsect of that original population that survives, leaving you with significantly reduced genetic variation. Models predict a steep decline in habitat suitability by 2050. This includes both temperature and water flow conditions. Larval salamanders are especially vulnerable to warmer water, which lowers survival rates, and urban development continues to isolate these groups, increasing fragmentation and reducing gene flow. The figure in this slide shows habitat suitability for A. japonicus, with green being the most suitable. As you can see, there's far little green left on the map. Most of it is going down to completely unsuitable. When talking about conservation implications and future research, you want to restore river connectivity. It's critical. You want to remove or modify dams that can aid in any kind of breeding migration. You also want to monitor the water quality, and it's essential to catch and address any pollution as early as possible. You also want to conduct genetic studies and manage hybridization threats with the nearby Chinese giant salamander. In general, though, we need more research to figure out whether or not the species has any adaptive potential left to face climate change. This species is over 170 million years old, and now within our lifetimes, there is serious risk of it actually going extinct. Factors that led to this are low genetic diversity, how specialized it is to its environment, and the human interference that makes recovery so difficult without swift action. In order to preserve this species, you want to take immediate conservation action and explore and understand its evolutionary limits.